Back in 1982, near Dulce, New Mexico, my unit got sent to check out some strange readings under a mesa. Supposed to be nothing, just a recon sweep. But the air smelled like bleach and metal, and the hole we found wasn't made by any machine I know. We went down anyway. We shouldn't have. What we found under that rock still keeps me up at night. So before we continue, please make sure to like and subscribe to support the channel, and comment down below where you're watching from. Thanks. You ever smell the storm before it even shows up on radar? That taste in the air. Metal, dust, ozone. Dulce felt like that before sunrise. Wind cutting down off the mesa, sky low and ugly, flat gray. Like the land knew we shouldn't be there. We rolled out in 2 trucks. No markings, no flags, no bumper numbers, no nothing. Plain tan, beat to hell, gov plates, no canvas top on the back. Just benches welded in and a pipe to hold on so you don't bounce out and break your teeth. We were packed in with our rucks and rifles across our laps, muzzle down between boots. Everyone hunched in the collars and watching nothing. No one was talking. Couple guys nodding off and catching that jump sleep. Chin hits chest. Snap awake. Chin hits chest again. Boots braced so you don't slide when the driver hits washboard. You could feel every rut in that dirt road all the way up your spine. My lower back felt like rebar. The medic sat across from me, rubbing under his nose again and again, like the air already pissed him off. The LT sat near the tailgate, one hand on the roll bar, radio handset tucked under his kit where wind wouldn't rip the cord. He still had that new face. Too fresh. Shave still visible at 05 in the morning. Not enough salt yet. Butter bar. But a good one. He listened more than he talked, which was rare for a new LT. He had his notepad open on his thigh. Kept checking it like maybe the plan would change if he stared long enough. Top sat next to him. Big. Quiet. Chewed the same little piece of gum like he'd been working it since 1968. Shoulders like stacked plates. Eyes half closed like he was asleep. He wasn't asleep. We'd gotten the brief back at the hide and nobody liked it. Recon, they called it. Low V's. Confirm and report only. That means command wants deniability. That also means they expect something worth denying. LT ran it again in the truck for anybody who hadn't caught it the first time. Ground sensors picked up repeat seismic spikes under Archuleta Mesa. Somebody's drilling under government land without permission. Could be cartel tunnel. Could be illegal mining. Could be foreign nonsense. Could be some civilian idiots with too much money in a rented rig. We go in, confirm source, get location, get pictures, and bounce. We are not to destroy anything. We are not to seize anything. We are not to engage unless engaged. Rules of force stay standard unless I tell you different. Got it. That was the official line. He said it flat, irritated. Like even saying it out loud felt dumb. Nobody asked what kind of cartel can afford to drill straight under a mesa in the middle of nowhere on federal dirt. Nobody asked why seismic data got kicked to a recon element instead of some Interior Department suit. Nobody asked why this was us. We hit a cattle gate about 15 minutes out from Dulce. Top hopped down, opened it, and waved us through. He shut it behind us and smacked the tailgate twice. We kept rolling up toward the mesa. Sagebrush and low scrub and old burned stumps from some fire years back. Red dirt. No movement. No cattle. No dogs. Nothing. We came up on site just after first light. Hole setup was wrong. There was chain link like you'd see around a temp generator farm. 8-foot fresh posts, no rust, topped in loose razor wire that hadn't even collected dust yet. Inside the fence, one small tent. Not a GP medium. Not an army tent. Civilian looking. Tan, squared, insulated wall panels. One cable run from the tent to a quiet generator set on rubber blocks. Generator was humming steady. No up and down, just one solid note. Even, too even. And then there were the 2 guys. They weren't ours. They had buzz cuts and clean boots, but not military boots. Some off-brand hiking thing. No rank, no patches. No name tape, no iPro. No plates. Just light jackets, radio earpieces, clipboards. They looked at us, getting out of the trucks, then looked away. Wouldn't meet eyes. That right there set the tone. We dismounted like normal. Security fan. Rifles low. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud. It was supposed to be daylight sweep and report. But you could feel it in how guys were moving. Nobody dragging feet, no one joking. No one asking who packed dip. We weren't in training area mode. We were in work mode. Top walked up to the two tech guys, gave them that smile he does that isn't a smile. "You boys running my generator without a ticket?" They didn't answer. One of them just looked past Top's shoulder like Top wasn't there and said, "Timeline moved up. We'll be out of your way shortly." Voice was flat, no accent, no region, like a radio voice. The medic muttered, real low, "That ain't normal," under his breath. The air smelled off at that fence line. That was the first real thing. It wasn't dead cow. We all knew dead cow. It wasn't trash burn. It wasn't diesel. It had this hot edge to it, like hot metal hit with bleach, sharp enough to sting. I felt it in the back of my throat and under my tongue. Medic rubbed under his nose again harder like he was trying to scrape the smell off his face. LT logged initial arrival in his notebook. Time, weather, personnel count. He marked down 2 site contractors, like he was pretending that's what they were. He did his check-in with command on time on the 15-minute window. 3-2, this is actual, on site. Confirmed 2 Civ Tech. No additional contact. Stand by for initial sweep. Command came back right away. Too quick. Like they were holding the mic and waiting. Copy, actual. Confirmed. Proceed per tasking. Report structural anomalies. No entry. That was the last time we'd hear that. We pushed past the tent to set a perimeter. Standard work. Range the terrain. Plot arcs. Confirm dead ground. Mark likely approach lanes. You log loose ground. You log any break in brush line that looks traveled. You mark where the dirt doesn't match the age of the rest of the dirt. We did that. One of our guys, Ramirez, crouched down by a patch of disturbed ground near the base of the mesa. He didn't say anything out loud, just tapped his boot prints, then tapped another set a foot away, then held his hand up, palm down, finger spread. That's his way of saying, "What the hell is this?" The other prints were wrong. Heel shape was off. The arch was too long, toes too narrow, now end toes too narrow. No tread like ours. Ours were standard issue Vibram. Clear lug pattern. These were smooth. Almost like someone poured weight down without rolling heel to toe. We all saw that and nobody laughed. LT saw it too. He didn't comment. He just wrote. We kept moving around the face of the mesa. Low scrub, loose rock. Red dirt kicked up under boots, wind cutting through us sideways. I could feel grit in my teeth. That smell got stronger near one chunk of brush piled against the rock. That hot, bleached chemical stink. The medic actually gagged once and did that swallow cough thing so he wouldn't spit in front of Top. Top lifted his hand, and we all stacked up without having to be told. Board time was over. Behind the scrub and some netting was an opening. Not natural. The rock face had been cut. I mean cut. Perfect. Vertical. Circular. A bored shaft down into the mesa. No blast scarring. No broken rock spill. No drill marks. Nothing. Just a clean hole maybe 2 meters across with a steel collar welded into the mouth. The welds were fresh. You could still see heat discolor. The collar itself had no tag. No numbers. No maker stamp. Smooth, new, shiny even under dust. I have been around mining outfits, oil outfits, tunnel work. Nothing like this. It looked too clean. Too smooth. Like a machine did it that I've never even seen in pictures. Top crouched at the edge but didn't lean in. He just looked at LT. LT keyed up. Actual to command. We have located unauthorized underground access point. Coordinates to follow. Structural reinforcement in place. Request updated tasking. Command cut in so fast he clipped the tail of LT's words. Copy access point. Stand fast. Then there was a hiss under the reply. Not static, more like feedback chasing the last word. It hung in the air half a second after command let go of the mic. LT stared at the handset like it had just spoken back in a different voice. Then command came back again. Actual, you are cleared to assess internal up to level 3. Confirm only. No engagement unless engaged. Report findings. You could feel the air change when those words hit. This was no longer look and leave. This was go in. Top didn't argue, not on net. He just nodded once like, yep, that's how it's gonna be. Everyone else tightened gear. Rucks got cinched down, chin straps got checked, mouth guards went in, gloves pulled on, plates shifted tight. The casual posture died right there at the lip of that shaft. No one cracked jokes, no one said who like an idiot. We were past that. The medic whispered to me low, that smells worse at the hole. You smell that, that ain't right. Yeah, I smelled it. Hot metal. Bleach. Under it, something old. Copper. Wet. That was the moment I knew we weren't getting a normal day. We found the way down easy. The shaft wasn't just a hole. There was a platform inside it. Looked like an elevator, but not like any freight or mine lift I've seen. No cage. No cable. Just a round deck with a rail waist high and a control plate on a small fixed column at chest level. The control plate was metal. Brushed steel. No screws. No seams. Looked like it grew out of the column instead of being bolted on. It had numbers, 1 through 6. Just the numbers. Stamped, not printed. No up arrow. No down arrow. No stop. No emergency brake. No key slot, no English. Nothing. LT stared at it. That's not standard Army anything, he muttered. Top said, no sir. It is not. LT called it in. Actual to command. We have an internal lift system. 6 selectable levels. No visible safety cert. Request confirm level 3 access only. Again, command came back fast. Too fast. Actual proceed to level 3. Survey only. Maintain control of your element. Acknowledge. LT looked at Top. Top held LT's eyes a long 3 count. The kind of look where he's telling him this is dumb, sir, without saying the words. LT finally said, copy. Level 3. Top didn't like it, but he rolled with it. We stacked in 2 groups on the platform. Half first, half second. Rifles low, not slung. Muzzles pointed down and out. You don't sling in tight quarters unless you're an idiot. Plates out, knees bent. We filled that circle shoulder to shoulder. Boots hit the deck and I felt this faint vibration through my soles. A hum, not loud. More like a pressure under the skin of your feet. LT touched the 3, just tapped it with his glove. The door at the top of the shaft slid shut over us, not down. Not like a normal elevator gate. It slid sideways across the opening like an iris, sealing light out. We were under red light now. Low, emergency glow built into the railing around the platform. Then we dropped. My stomach didn't move. That was the part that messed with me. Every elevator you've ever ridden, you feel the dip in your gut. Not here. The deck hummed under boots. Shoulders vibrated soft. But you felt like you were standing still and the world was moving around you instead of you moving through it. Air temp dropped with each second. Breath fogged in that red light. I could see Top's breath in front of me, see it roll up off his lip like winter. I rubbed my fingers and couldn't feel the tips right. Felt slow, thick, like the blood didn't want to move. Medic tapped his own chest twice with a fist, then pointed straight up, then shrugged. That means pressure shift, ears, lungs, something. He was having trouble hearing his own inhale in his own head. I felt it too. Like the air got heavy, like deep water, but not on my chest. More on the inside of my head. The radio in LT's hand hissed. He keyed up. Actual to command. We are en route level 3. Be advised, pressure variance possible. Then we all heard it. His own voice came back in our headsets not even a full second later. Echoed, but wrong. The words were the same, but the tone wasn't. More flat, less human. Like someone copied the sound and played it back wrong. He let go of the mic real slow. Nobody said a word. The platform stopped. No lurch, just no more hum. Door slid open sideways again. Same weird motion, like a lens unshuttering. Level 3 didn't look like anything I've ever seen. First thought, concrete bunker, Cold War type, but not really. The hallway past the door had walls that looked poured, yeah, but then melted. No seams, no corners. No sharp 90-degree edges. Everything rounded off, runny, like someone had poured concrete with heat and let it sag and cool that way. The light was low, indirect. Overhead strips sunk behind some kind of cloudy shielding, not normal fluorescence. No buzz, no flicker, just this uniform low whitewash. We moved out in textbook fashion. Slow, clean, 2 on point, 2 wide, LT in the pocket, top floating, medic center, rear security tight. Rifles up now. No more low ready. Triggers index but close. Our footsteps sounded too loud. Every boot hit echoed back weird. I could hear my own steps from ahead of me, like the sound bounced and turned around and came back wrong. The whole place felt like a throat, like we were inside something. No hum from air vents, no rattle of ducting, no drip, nothing. Just us breathing. The smell hit next. Up top it was bleach and hot metal. Down here was copper and something like hospital drain, sharp enough to taste. We hit first junction left, clear. Second junction right, clear. Then we saw the glass. The hallway opened into a row of rooms. Each room sealed with floor-to-ceiling glass panels. The glass was thick, thicker than it needed to be for humans, like aquarium thick. Inside each room was a tank, not like a water trough, not like a lab sink, full wall tank. Built right into the structure, hoses ran from the ceiling into the tanks. The hoses weren't all metal, some looked like bone. I know that sounds dumb. I'm just telling you what it looked like. Pale off-white, no braid, almost porous, cloudy liquid in 2 tanks. Couldn't see through it. Milky, slow little movement in it like it was circulating on its own. There were restraint points inside the tanks. Heavy cuffs at wrist height, heavy cuffs at ankle height, a locking bracket at throat height. Bolt points sunk into the tank frame. 2 of the tanks were still full. 2 were empty but wet. Drip lines down into floor drains. On the inside of one full tank, something had stuck to the glass. Gray-green, looked like skin. Looked like someone peeled a forearm worth of skin off and slapped it against the wall from the inside. Flat but not smooth. Layered, patterned. I don't have better words. The edges weren't torn like human skin tears. They were clean. Too clean. The medic swallowed hard, dry, twice. He put his glove up over his mouth and nose. He kept walking, but slow now. His shoulders were tight and high. We could hear our breath in that hallway. That's it. Just breath. Nobody said what the fuck, but everybody was thinking it. LT had his notepad out, hand shaking just a little. He was writing short words. Tank count, layout, any text stenciled on walls. There wasn't much. No English, no warnings, no hazard diamonds, nothing. We moved deeper along the wall of glass rooms. Top kept glancing at the ceiling. I noticed it too. No cameras, no obvious sensors, no lights we could shoot out. It was like walking through someone's insides. At the end of that row of rooms, there was a door. Not a normal door, no handle, no mechanical latch. Just a flat section of wall with a plate on it about shoulder high and the number 5 on it in red paint. Not printed, looked brushed on by hand. The paint was scuffed and old. Everything else looked new and clean and smooth. That 5 looked used. That's when one of the tech guys from topside stepped past us. Yeah, one of those quiet, no-name guys in hiking boots had come down the lift with us. We didn't invite him, he just got on. None of us remembered making space for him, but there he was in the stack, hugging that little black case he'd carried down. He didn't ask for security clear. He didn't ask for permission, he just walked. Calm, like he knew the way. He moved right past Top, which pissed Top off. You don't break stack like that. You don't push past Top, you just don't. The tech guy went to that 5 door, he put his palm flat on that plate. No code, no badge, no key. The door unlocked. No noise, just a soft shift in the wall, and then the wall slid open. That made every hair on my arm stand up under the sleeves. Every rifle in the team came up a half-inch higher. And that was when I felt it for the first time. Air, warm air, coming from below, past that door. Not warm like desert air, wet warm, body warm. That wrong smell riding up with it. Bleach and copper and rot and something else I couldn't place. Something alive. LT called the short hold with his fist up. We locked in. Top dropped 2 guys on rear watch, rifles covering back down the smooth hallway toward the lift. 2 guys took the far cross corner. Everyone else stayed tight on the door the tech had just opened. We were doing it by the book, even here. Even with nothing about this place matching anything in the book. LT whispered, "Document." That was all he said. So we did. We started counting tanks, lights, doorways, hall turns. We memorized where each junction sat off the main hallway. We marked in our heads how many steps between each turn, how far to cover if we had to drag a body back. You always do that on entry. You build the map in your head, because paper gets lost, radios die, batteries die. Your head is the only guaranteed map. Boots stayed on the line, no one wandered. We were tight. The tech guy didn't care about any of that. He had his palm still on the plate and was already past the threshold of the door. I remember his face. No sweat, no fear, calm, like a guy walking into his office. That pissed me off in a way I can't explain. Inside the door past that plate was a service corridor. It sloped down, not stairs. Just angled down slow like a ramp. The walls changed. Back in level 3, the walls looked poured and then heated smooth. In here, past that red 5 mark, they didn't look poured at all. They looked grown. They had faint ridges along them. Not random, layered, organic, curved like the inside of ribs. No bolt heads, no weld beads. No seam where one panel met another panel. Just long, smooth sections like bone that got stretched and shaped to make a hallway. I know how that sounds. I'm telling you what I saw. The air got warmer the further we went in. Not by a lot at first. Just enough to fog optics and fog rifle barrels. My rifle started sweating from the sling point forward. Little dots of moisture forming and rolling down like I'd just come in from a cold night into a hot tent. My cheek weld felt slick. We were already sweating under our plates. That fast. We'd just been seeing breath fog 2 minutes ago. Top made a face I've only seen twice in my life. Disgust and anger and worry all mixed. He adjusted his plate carrier higher, up over his collarbones. I watched 2 other guys do the same. They wanted their throat covered. Point man raised a fist and we froze. Then he opened his hand and pushed it low, flat to the ground in front of him. That means eyes on something. We all leaned in real slow, rifles following his barrel. Tracks. On the deck. In that hallway. Not boot prints. Not paws. Not hooves. Each print had 4 forward digits. Long, thick at the base, tapered at the ends. Between each digit there was webbing or skin or something that didn't leave full contact but left a smear. Behind each print was a thin drag line, like claws, or knuckles, or something else trailing as it walked. Stride length was human, maybe a little longer. Left-right offset was human. Heel-to-toe spacing was human. Shape was not. I felt my throat close up a little. LT looked back at Top. You could see in his eyes, we should turn around. We should go back to the lift. We should call this in and let somebody with a bigger badge handle it. Then LT looked forward again. He said real quiet, we go, we confirm. Then we get out, fast. Nobody argued. Nobody said that's stupid, sir. We just checked mags by feel. Tapped pouches. Felt for spare tourniquets. Checked we all had at least 1 fresh chem light on the shoulder strap. Every man ran through his own touch inventory in under 5 seconds. The air vibrated then. Not sound you hear. Sound you feel in your teeth. Like standing near big power lines. That buzz in your molars. Except this fell deeper. It made my jaw tighten on its own. The medic actually reached up and pushed his own jaw with his thumb knuckle like he was trying to reset it in the hinge. He grimaced and shook his head after. We kept moving down. Deeper. The radios went dead. Full dead. Before that, we at least had hiss and bounce. Now, nothing. I tried a whisper check to rear security in my headset. Didn't even get my own voice bounce back wrong. Just silence. That hit hard. Out there on the surface, comms are life. Down here, no comms means no help. We all knew it. You could feel shoulders crawl up and forward. You could feel the stack get tighter, rifles tucked in close, muzzles never drifting off sector. No one dared talk anymore. Only sound left was breathing through nose and gear creak and soft boot steps on that weird floor. We weren't in recon anymore. We were in something else. We just didn't have a name for it yet. There weren't any level markings. Nobody said now entering level 4 or whatever. We just kept down that angle, and the world kept changing around us. Floor under our boots went from hard to something with give. Not mush, not mud. More like walking on thick rubber mats laid over concrete. You could feel it flex under your weight, then settle back after your foot lifted. I hated it. I hated that feel more than almost anything else down there. Nobody said a word about it. We were all thinking the same thing. If you say it out loud, it becomes real. The walls kept that bone look, curved in tighter. Ceiling lowered down to where even I had to duck my nods mount once. The light changed too. Up top it was white. Down the ramp it shifted green. Not bright green, sick green. Dull. Coming from long strips set in the wall itself. Not bulbs, not tubes. More like the wall glowed along certain veins. I don't have better terms for it. That light made everybody look wrong. Skin tone went gray. Eyes looked sunken. Teeth looked yellow. It made us all look like we'd been dead a week. I stopped looking at faces. The corridor opened up into a chamber, ceiling low, maybe 8 feet. Walls curved in, almost egg-shaped. The whole room felt like standing inside a rib cage. I saw restraints first, not cuffs. Frames. Full-body restraint frames bolted vertical to the far wall. Each frame looked like it was shaped for a human torso. Shoulder hooks, wrist locks, hip clamps, throat brace. There were metal spreaders set at rib level, like someone could crank them open and hold a chest cavity apart while the body was still standing. Dried, dark stains ran down from those frames to little floor drains. The stains were thick, layered, old. Some of it had dried in ridges. I've seen blood. This wasn't right for blood. Too dark, too sticky, too much body to have that little spray. 2 of those frames were bent, twisted outward like something too strong for the locks had pulled against them and warped steel. Steel doesn't bend like that easy. Not like that. Then we saw the cage, center of the room, not square. The bars weren't straight. They curved, warped, like someone heated metal until soft and then pulled it into long arcs and twisted them together while it cooled. The bars had gouges in them, long gouges, tooth or claw gouges, full thickness in some parts. The cage door hung open, hinges bent like they'd been hit hard from the inside. On the floor of the cage there were drag marks. Something big had lain there, heavy, then got pulled out. You could see where weight dug in. You could see the trail off the cage floor and across the chamber floor into the far dark corner. Right at the end of that drag trail on the chamber floor were those same prints we saw in the hall. The 4-digit ones with the drag lines. Bigger now, deeper now. Top held his fist up. We froze, rifles up. There was sound in that corner, not fast. Slow, a scrape, weight shifting, flesh on metal. I could hear my own heartbeat punching in my throat while we slowly aimed into that dark. Then it leaned forward into the sick green light. I don't have a word that fits it clean. It was tall, a head and a half taller than Top. And Top's not a small man. Shoulders wide, arms long, arms too long. Elbows sat lower than where a normal human's would hang. Forearms way long. Hands past knee level. Skin. I keep saying skin, but that's not it. It looked layered, overlapping, not smooth like ours, more like plates, patterned. Gray, green, and dark, not shiny, not wet, more like scar tissue built up on scar tissue forever. The joints worked like normal joints, but too smooth. No hitch, no shake. Like everything inside was perfect alignment. Its head was shaped mostly human, mostly jaw strong. Forehead longer and swept back, eyes forward-facing. The eyes got me. The eyes reflected that sick green wall light like wet glass. And the pupils weren't round, they were narrow, vertical. It breathed slow, chest up, chest down, calm. Then it made a sound. Not a growl, not anything like an animal I know. More like a dry clack deep in its throat. Short bursts of click that rattled metal in my fillings. You could feel it more than hear it. For 3 long seconds, nobody fired. We just stood there in that dead green light with rifles up and brains locked. Training wants to put the threat into something you know. Human, animal, whatever. You get rules for those. You don't get rules for this. Then it stepped. 1 step forward. That was enough. Top dumped his first burst center mass. We all followed. Room lit up with muzzle flash. White-orange slam against that green wash. Full volume, full blast. Rifles barking, shoulders kicking. Brass hitting deck and bouncing off boots and rolling under feet. Air went solid with burned powder. Rounds hit. You could see impacts. You could see little sparks jump off its body like metal strike. You could see dark spray hit the curved wall behind it and run thick. It rocked back. Staggered half a step. It did not drop. That's the part that still knocked my gut, all these years later. We were dumping rounds that would put a man down and keep him down. Center mass, throat, face. It should have folded. It didn't. It moved like it was bored. It swung one arm, not even a full punch. Just brought its forearm around, backhand, like shoving something out of its space. It hit Lewis in the chest. Lewis is not a small guy. Lewis had plates. Lewis had weight. That thing hit him, and Lewis left his feet. Full body, clean off the deck. He slammed into the curved wall hard enough I heard his plate carrier crunch. His head snapped off the wall and bounced. He fell in a heap and didn't move. The medic broke discipline. Didn't ask, didn't call it out. Just dropped low and crawled, not even standing up. Just low crawl across that nasty floor, grabbing Lewis by his drag handle and hauling him back in short bursts. Teeth clenched. Eyes locked on what he was doing. Not on the thing. He left a smear on his sleeves from what was already on the deck. Didn't look at it. LT tried to yell, fall back. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. I saw his throat flex. Saw cords in his neck stand up. No sound. He looked at Top and just hammered his fist twice into Top's shoulder and sliced 2 fingers back toward the hall. Move. Now. Top got it. Top always got it. He started peeling us back, pair by pair. Classic break contact. You never show your back. You pull cover, bull cover. Slow and controlled even when you're dying inside. We started to move. The thing didn't charge. It watched us, head down, eyes up, calm, like it's seen this before. It raised one hand to its own chest, plucked at something. That's when I noticed it had a round lodged under the collar area, just above the chest plate that wasn't a plate. One of our rounds had hit and stuck in the first layer of that tough skin and sat there, half buried like a thumbtack in rubber. It reached up with 2 long fingers, pressed on that round. The round slid back out and fell, hit the deck, little metal ping, like it was nothing. My hands were shaking so bad on my rifle I had to reset my grip. We backed into that hallway in a tight stagger, dragging Lewis. My heel hit that soft rubber floor and almost slid out. I caught myself on the wall, and the wall had give to it. Worn. I jerked my hand back without thinking. Air started to hum again. Low at first, then stronger. It was the same teeth vibration from before, only deeper, cycled in pulses. Each pulse made the edges of my vision shake, not blur, shake. Like the hallway flexed in and out for a half second. Made me feel light, then heavy, then light, messed with balance. Lights along the hall flickered. That green glow dimmed, came back, dimmed again. My rifle light was on now because I wasn't going to trust wall light. My rifle light sputtered, cut, came back half power, stuttered like it had a bad wire. I banged it with the heel of my hand and it steadied, but not full. Floor under our boots changed again, got slick. Right under us, like something fresh had been tracked. Or leaked. The medic almost lost his footing dragging Lewis. He caught himself with a bare palm. When he pulled his hand up, his glove was wet with that same dark, thick stuff from the chamber floor. He wiped it on his pants fast, didn't look at it. No one was talking now. No one dared. We were past scared. We were in get out or die mode. We hit that level 3 hallway again, the one with the glass rooms. We knew where we were, even without comms. You build the map in your head. That saved us, only it wasn't the same anymore. One of the tanks that had been cloudy was cracked, full side split, like something inside had pushed out with steady pressure until the entire panel spidered and gave. The milky liquid was leaking in slow sheets out across the floor, thin pools running toward the floor drains, then past them, like the drains couldn't keep up. I stepped in it and felt the temp through my pants. Warm, body warm. The restraint cuffs inside that tank were bent outward. Whatever had been in there wasn't in there anymore. I scanned left, right, ceiling, saw no movement, saw no cameras, saw no nothing. That scared me more than seeing something would have. Then we realized we were light one body. The tech guy. The one with the calm face. The one who acted like he lived down here. Gone. He'd been in front of us in the pullback. I remember him between LT and top when we started the peel. Now, gone. No one saw him go. What we did see, his little black case on the deck by the door we came through. His headset next to it. The earpiece was crushed. Not cut. Crushed like someone squeezed it between finger and thumb and it shattered. No blood. No drag marks. No torn fabric. He was just not there anymore. That hit worse than anything. LT tried his radio again. You could see hope in his face he didn't want to admit to. He keyed up and whispered, "Actual to command. Break. We are exfil level 3. Break. 1 friendly urgent casualty. Break. Requesting." What came through the headset was not command. It wasn't static either. It was breathing. Slow. Calm. Inhale. Exhale. Right against his ear. Too steady for panic. Too deliberate. It sounded like something big trying to fake being calm for us. LT ripped the headset off like it had burned him and didn't put it back on. Lewis was awake again by then. Kind of. Eyes open. Pupils wrong. Slow to react to light. His helmet had a dent on the back right where his skull had bounced the wall. He kept blinking like he was trying to clear water out of his eyes. The medic checked him fast. No field neuro kit. Just hands. Pupils. Squeeze my hand. Follow my finger. Standard check. Lewis tried to give a thumbs up, but his fingers twitched and wouldn't lock in place. His hand kept shaking like he had a tremor. Medic swore under his breath. He clipped a strap from his own rig to Lewis. Hooked Lewis to himself like a tow line. He wasn't leaving him. We got eyes on the lift. Door was already open. That stopped us cold. None of us had hit the plate. None of us had called the lift. But there it was, door slid aside. Platform waiting, lit red, humming quiet like it was on idle. Only the 3 on that weird plate was lit. Solid red. No other numbers glowed. Top didn't care how wrong that was. He just started shoving us in. Move, 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 under his breath. Hands on shoulders, pushing bodies. He got everyone on the platform tight, packed in, shoulder to shoulder. Lewis slumped half against the medic, half against the rail. LT was last in. He stood in the doorway, rifle up, covering down that green-lit hall. His muzzle was moving in these tiny shakes even though his stance was rock solid. You could tell he was burning out adrenaline hard. Then, right before the door slid, we saw it. At the far end of the hall, past those glass rooms, standing just inside the green wash of that sick wall light, not moving. Not the tall one, smaller, closer to our height, maybe a head taller than me. Built leaner, same layered skin, same wrong joints, head tilted slightly to the side like a dog trying to figure out a noise. Just watching us, not attacking, just watching. Door slid shut. The platform hummed, started to rise. Again, no stomach drop, no cable noise. No nothing, just that steady hum under our boots and the red glow up in our faces. No one said a word, no one fired back through the door. We just stood there packed tight, breathing hard, tasting blood and chemical stink and copper in our mouths, and waited to see if something was going to punch through the wall and pull us back down. The door slid open and air hit us. Cold air, outside air, dirt and sagebrush and dust. Night desert air. It burned my lungs, it felt so clean. I hadn't even noticed I'd been breathing wrong until then. I coughed and almost puked. A couple guys doubled over on the platform rail, spitting dark strings. Light topside was different now. Sky had shifted color. Sun low. Late afternoon. We'd only been under a short time, but my sense of time was wrecked. The generator was dead. That steady hum from earlier? Gone. The tent we'd seen when we rolled in was half collapsed, like someone yanked poles fast. One wall panel torn. The inside looked empty. Not messy, just empty. Cleared in a hurry. Fresh tire tracks tore out of the sight. Heavy tread. Deep bite in the dirt. Big vehicle. Not our trucks. Different pattern. Wide, like armored weight. Tracks hadn't been there when we went down. LT keyed up again. I don't know why. Habit. Hope. Something. This time command came through like nothing had happened. Strong, clear, calm. Actual status. LT just stared at the handset for a second, then said, "Command, we are topside. One friendly injured. Sight appears compromised. Request medevac and QRF. Command answered too calm. Cold position. Recovery team is en route. Maintain security and await retrieval. Do not leave. Do not approach local population. Copy." Something in that voice was wrong. I've heard command stressed. I've heard command pissed. I've heard command bored. I've never heard command hollow. The pacing was off. Human speech breathes. This didn't. It just rolled out in perfect blocks like a recording. Top heard it too. He shook his head once, real small, at LT. Then Top started moving us. No radio. No permission. He just gestured low and sharp. Pack up. Grab only what matters. Off the pad. Off the obvious approach. Into a cover. We moved to a shallow wash maybe 30 meters out. Natural dip in the dirt with scrub cover. Enough to get low and set rifles out. We took sectors like we were in a fight. Because as far as we were concerned, we still were. We pointed every barrel at that shaft mouth. Only there wasn't a shaft mouth anymore. While we watched, the metal collar around the hole shifted. I swear to you it shifted. The opening narrowed. The steel ring slid back into the rock like it had never been welded there. In less than 10 seconds, the whole thing smoothed over. Looked like bare mesa wall. No seam. No weld line. No scrape marks on the dirt where we'd stood earlier. Nothing. Gone. Lewis started mumbling, low, broken, out of rhythm, like sleep talking. At first I thought he was just concussed and out of it. Then I heard the words. He was repeating exactly what LT had said down in the ramp before we pushed deeper. Word for word. We go, we confirm, and then we get out, fast. Only it wasn't his voice. It was LT's voice. Lewis's mouth, LT's voice. Same tone, same cadence. My whole body went cold. Medic clamped the hand over Lewis's mouth and held him. Hard. Eyes wide, breathing through his nose in these little angry bursts. He didn't look at any of us. He just held Lewis quiet, like if he let him keep talking, something else might answer. We watched the mesa. We stayed in that wash, rifles up, fingers on triggers, shoulders burning, thighs shaking from holding a crouch too long, sun dropping behind the ridge. Shadows getting long and cold and crawling across the dirt toward us. No one talked. No one said, "Are you okay?" No one said, "What the hell was that?" We just watched that rock face where we knew a door had been, even though now it looked like untouched mesa, waiting to see if something else came up after us. The radio cracked again. Same hollow voice. Actual, maintain your current position. Retrieval and processing inbound. Do not move from designated perimeter. Do not engage recovery personnel. Acknowledge. Processing. That word hit like ice. We all looked at LT. LT looked at the radio. Then he just reached down and turned the volume all the way down until I couldn't hear anything from it but a faint hiss. We held there, in that wash, rifles up until full dark. Trucks rolled in after dark, not ours. No headlights. Just low blackout driving lights. Tires wide and clean. No dust on them like they hadn't been in country long. No unit markings. No flags. No bumper numbers. No tack plates. Nothing. Guys climbed out. Not medics. Not MPs. Not QRF. Not even dudes from some alphabet soup we'd seen before. These guys were in clean suits, not hazmat bubble suits. More like gray coveralls. Smooth. High color. Full face masks with dark visors. Gloves taped to sleeves. Boots taped to cuffs. They moved like they'd practiced a walk 1,000 times. Not curious, not surprised, not scared, just efficient. No rank, no names, no patches, clipboards, cases. No stretcher for Lewis, no chaplain. No one asked if anyone was hurt. They split us fast. Top tried to stay with LT. One of the suits stepped between them and pointed without touching. Top didn't like that. You could see the veins stand out in his neck. But he didn't swing. He just stared at LT and LT stared back, and that was all they got. Our rifles were taken. Quiet, professional. No yelling, no rough grabs. Just handed over with a gloved palm. We all handed them over without fighting. I still don't know why. I think shock had us by the throat by then. They walked each of us to a different truck. They angled bodies so we couldn't keep eyes on each other. Every time I tried to look over at someone else, a suited body moved into my line of sight and blocked it. Lewis got special. They didn't ask if he could walk. They just strapped him to a rigid board with big black straps. Ankles, thighs, chest, forehead. He didn't fight. His eyes were open wide, pupils still slow. He was mouthing words with no sound now. I could see his lips move. I could read it. We go. We confirm. Then we get out. Fast. Same cadence. Same tone. LT's order. Whooping. Only now, nothing was coming out of his throat. One of the suits wrote something on a clipboard and didn't bother hiding it from me. I caught the words cognitive echo. They handed LT a form. Paper. Actual paper, not a tablet, not a recorder. Paper. Already filled in with his name, his service number, his unit, typed clean. All ready for his signature. I got a look at it over his shoulder before they moved me. The form said there'd been a mine collapse, underground structural failure during a joint survey, loss of civilian contractors. Our presence on scene was stability and security support. It said nothing about level 3, nothing about level 5, nothing about tanks in the wall or bone hallways or cages with bent bars. Nothing about anything with eyes like wet glass and hands that could shove a full-grown man into a wall like throwing trash. LT stared at the line where they wanted his signature. His hand was still shaking. He flattened his palm on his own knee to steady it. I saw dark flakes cracked on his gloves and pants. Looked dried. Looked like paint. Looked like something else. They loaded us up, each of us into a separate truck. 2 suits climbed in with me, sat on either side like bookends. Didn't talk. As we pulled out, I looked back through the gap in the tailgate. Archuleta Mesa was dark against the horizon, just a lump of New Mexico rock in the last of the light. No tent, no generator, no chain link fence, no tire ruts from our trucks that morning. Like we'd never been there, like nothing had ever been there. Just untouched dirt and scrub in the mesa face, quiet and innocent. I looked down at my boots. They were still wet. Not soaked, just streaked and spattered. That thick, dark stuff from the floor of that chamber had dried in patches, cracked in little plates, layered, overlapping. The pattern looked like scales, not fish scales. Something heavier, built to take rounds. I reached like I was going to wipe it off on the truck bed. I didn't. I just sat there, hands flat on my knees to stop the shaking, and kept my mouth shut. No one ever asked me for an after action on Dulce. Nobody ever put it in my file. Far as the Army's concerned, Dulce was a mine collapse in 1982. Far as I'm concerned, there's something under that mesa. It's still down there. So that's the end of our video. If you made it this far, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it's free. And if you want more terrifying encounters like this one, check out the other videos on screen right now. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there. See you soon.